talk for a minute. I've been thinking about a lot of things, and I get in trouble for a lot of things I say, or not necessarily in trouble, but people don't necessarily always like what I have to say. But I wanted to take a few minutes here to try something. I want to talk to you, and I really want to get this video out to as many people as possible because I really need as many comments as possible. I want to start talking about where we are today in this world. I'm also going to end up trying to talk to some people eventually and try to help them maybe better themselves. But I got to work on a few things myself to make sure that I got all my ducks in a row. But right now I want to talk about life. I want to talk about the way we are now and why I think we're in the position we're in and why I'm afraid that we're fixing to go somewhere else that we don't want to go. I have to roll the clock back to about 1966, which is when I remember starting to do some things. And in 1966, I was about 5 years old. I lived on a small family farm. We had chickens, horses, ducks, a cornfield in the back. And I did a lot of riding horses, enjoyed country living, and life was really great. Went to school in the morning, had chores that I would have to do when I came home from school. And yes, even at 5 and 6 years old, I had chores. They were small chores, but they were chores that I had to do before I was allowed to get on my horse and ride or anything like that. And those helped strengthen me and make me who I am today. Now, at the same time, I'm gonna be honest with you, my life wasn't always so great. I watched my mother get the daylights beat out of her many times by my dad, who was actually my stepdad. Didn't meet my real dad till I was about 40, and only got to spend one day with him. Now my stepdad and him have passed. But anyhow, I was growing up in a time when life was great. I went outside, I ran around, I played, I did whatever I wanted to do. Some things that today people would say were crazy. If my mom and dad went out to a bar that we had in our small little town down the street, it had a little hall in it, and we would go with my mom and dad, and so would many other kids, and they would have these big things in there. They were called sit and spins, and all us kids would roll around in the hall, and nobody said nothing. We just played and had a good time. And life was good. When I got to be about 7 years or 8 years old, we moved into a small city, where again, I had all kinds of places I could go out and play. There were fields, there was everything. And I was able to be gone out on my own. I mean, nobody really had to worry about me. I maybe got into some trouble that I shouldn't have gotten into as a little kid, but we were free, and we were able to burn our energy as kids. We were able to get out and go out and just do whatever we wanted to do. Didn't have to worry about getting kidnapped, killed, murdered, or whatever. Not saying it didn't happen back then, but it was so far from any kind of reality that I was living in. Then again, I fast forward, I'm like 12 years old, and we moved into Sheboygan, Wisconsin, which was a nice little city. And in that city there, I would ride a bicycle from one end of the town to the other end of the town. And it was a pretty big little city. I forget how many miles it was across that city, but I could ride my bike and there was no worries. Would party with my friends. And as kids, what we would do is we would stand out in front of the house and play catch. We would go to fields and play football, or we'd go to a school campus and play football on their field, and we'd play marbles. We did all kinds of stuff while our parents were off doing whatever they were doing at home, or in my case, my grandmother was at home. But the kids, we got to run, we got to be free, we got to enjoy life, and we got to burn energy. And while I had some emotional issues in school, which I don't want to necessarily say I blame it on things, but it was probably the upbringing. It was probably the watching of my mom get the crap beat out of her. It was watching and getting the crap beat out of her, and myself and my stepbrothers getting the crap beat out of them sometimes. That created some emotional issues for me, but for the most part, I had this really good life, and I feel like today that's lost. The kids don't have it. I listen to my own kids with their kids, and it's like, no, they can't go 2 seconds out of their sight, because if they're out of their sight, something's going to happen. And it may very well be that way, but it's just wrong. I feel like we've really messed up. Um, when my biggest toys that I played with, like I say, was baseball bats, footballs, baseballs. Um, I had some Hot Wheels and stuff that I played with. We had some other toys, but for the most part, we didn't play it. We were outside. We were outside from morning to night, having a good time. And then I fast forward to getting into junior high school and getting my driver's license, and then got my driver's license, and I was able to roam free pretty much and do the things that I wanted to do. I had to be home at a certain time. I had to be careful with what I did, but life was good. Now, I'm gonna fast forward to where we are today. Today, kids can't do half of that, and the parents that let them go out and do some of this stuff would be considered to be, unsupervising their children and being abusive, I guess, to some degree, or child neglect, and that's scary. I got my ass whooped for, excuse the language, but I did for, when I did wrong. I got either a belt or a rubber hose taken to my butt. Again, today they'd call that child abuse, and I'm going to tell you now, I don't call that child abuse. It got my attention, and it got me to try to do right for the most part, and it taught me responsibility, it taught me honesty, it taught me character. And then all of a sudden, like around the time that my kids are starting to grow up and get older, you start hearing about all the child abuse things. Don't spank your children. It's horrible. It's bad for them. Don't use the timeout, use the count, do all other kinds of stuff. Well, that stuff doesn't work. I tried it with mine. My oldest son, I couldn't spank because he didn't see that as a punishment. He saw that more as an assault, and you could tell. And so with him, you could talk to him and get him straightened out. My middle son, you could talk to, you're blue in the face, but you put a little whooping on him, and he would straighten his act up. My youngest daughter, who I'm very proud of all my kids, but she has turned out to be one of the sweetest, most honest people I know. She's been done wrong by a lot of people, and that hurts my feelings, but she had to be whooped quite a bit to get her to be in line. Did she turn out and do everything exactly the way I would have liked her to in life? No, not necessarily. None of my kids did what I wanted them to do, but my kids weren't growing up to be me. My kids weren't growing up to be my life. My kids were growing up to be them, and I hope I taught them how to be them. But I watch them now with their kids and how they raise their kids and how overprotective I think that they are. And the kids, they get wild and crazy now, and they're wild and crazy because they can't burn that energy like we did when we went outside and played and rode bikes and did all the crazy stuff we did. They're cooped up in a house more than they're outside, or they're in school, or but they're not outside. They're not running around. They're not playing with friends. They're not interacting. They're on computers now, and they're on iPads and all kinds of stuff now, and they've lost touch of what of where we're at. And so we got rid of the discipline. We've got children having children. We got parents now being called baby mama and baby daddy rather than parents. And that term baby mama and baby daddy irks me to no end, because you're not just a baby mama or a baby daddy. You are a parent, and you need to use your parenting skills to parent these children. And we got people out here who have 5 baby mamas and 5 baby daddies or whatever, and none of them are taking responsibility to raise the children as parents. They're more trying to be friends, because so many times, as it is, it's young people, children having children, so they don't know how to be parents yet. All they know how to do is be friends, and that's created a really bad problem. So we're stuck in this world right now where things are just really bad, and it's bad because we've allowed it to be bad. And I got some more things I want to cover, but I can't cover them in one video. It would take too long, and I don't want it to be boring. but I want to get your attention and I want to get this video out, and I'm begging you to go ahead, share this video with other people. Please leave comments. Talk to me. Tell me what's going on in your life. Tell me what you see happening with our children and our youth today. Tell me what you see and what you think that we can do to make it better. There's probably so much more that I could put in here, but I'm gonna stop now. I think it's been long enough because I don't want you to turn this on and turn it off right away. So please listen. I hope you've listened to this whole tape, and then leave your comments. Thank you. God bless, and have a good day.